This is my mom, Barbara, and happy Mother's Day, Mom. I would first like to ask you about your own mother.
Okay. My mom was very hardworking, very principled, woman of integrity and character, a good character, high character. She was raised on a farm, and they took care of their neighbors, and as well as livestock, and did the work in the fields. And so she was reared working hard, and she remained that way all of her life until she was about 95. She had a temper. She could be a little upset sometimes.
Not at you, Mom.
Especially at me. But she was loving and kind, and she helped her neighbors. And what she called the old folks, even though she was older than them, she considered anybody that couldn't do for themselves old folks.
I remember she would call, like her neighbor, she'd call him old man such and such, and the person across the street, old lady such and such, and she was older than them.
That's right, but she never saw herself as the age that she really was. But she did recognize that in others, and she was quick to help them when they needed help. She cooked a lot of meals for a lot of hungry people and just quietly took it. She didn't make a to-do over her giving. And she said she saw poor people's needs because she had been so poor. And she would just quietly do what she could. And as long as she could. And she always said, you don't have to have the glory. Just do it quietly. Don't. She said, if you want the glory, it's not worth anything.
That's a good lesson.
And so, her favorite expression to say concerning that was, don't toot your own horn.
I can hear her saying that.
She said, because it makes a terrible noise.
Oh, that's a good lesson. Melanie is my sister, and happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you.
When you're thinking about Mom, just tell me one thing that she is like that influences your life in a positive way.
I think the one thing I noticed from that she passed down to all of us, and I think she got it from her mother, is wanting to always give to others, and when she sees a need, to fill that need for them, to bless people with food or whatever the need is. And I see the kids doing that for others, and I think that that's where we got it.
Can you just tell me about one either memorable time with Mom, or one funny time, or one terrible time? Knowing that she's right here.
No pressure. Oh. I have to think about that one. You might have to come back to me.
So this is my handsome husband, Mark.
Scrambled, boiled, fried.
And Mark,
quiche.
Would you just tell me a little bit about your mother?
How can I tell you a little bit about my mother? I'm everything about my mother. I am my mother.
Did you send me that list?
This is my mother, Edith. My grandfather, her dad, came over from Syria on the boat to Ellis Island. He was a truck farmer, and she was one of 5 kids. And she was a music teacher and my best friend. The most important lesson she ever taught me was giving.
In what way?
Just being kind and giving of yourself, being unselfish, and going for others.
Can you tell the story you've told me about
Hide and go seek?
Yeah, hide and go seek. I love that story.
My brother and I were little, and we could not find my mom, and we looked all over the house, and finally we gave up, and she was standing on the laundry hamper in the bathroom in plain sight, and her laugh was just infectious. She loved to laugh, she loved to have fun. She was a great high school athlete, she was a great musician, But just a giver. She loves everybody, and everybody loves her. And I'm so thankful. And I miss her.
I know you do, honey.
Okay?
Okay.
That wasn't easy.
I know, honey. This is Austin, who's my son of my heart. And we're happy to have you on Mother's Day, first of all.
Well, thank you very much.
When you think about your mom, what would be a value that you would just attribute that you really have in your own life?
The way she's very patient and the way she goes about things, and she's very, how do I say this? General thinking, and I think I got that from her, kind of, where she thinks about a lot of things before. She doesn't act on impulse, and I love that about her because she takes her time, and when she does something, it's not frivolous, it's very precise, and it's for a reason. So any action she does means something, so I take it in consideration.
Can you remember like one thing about your mom, like a great story or a funny story?
She once told me, she took me to a doctor's office, and this isn't even that funny, but I don't know why I thought it was cute. She looked over for a second, and then all of a sudden I fell in the toy box, and like my feet were like dangling in the air.
How old were you?
I was like 1. And she thought it was really cute. And she always sang me a lot of lullabies going to bed.
Aww.
Like the same ones, especially Fievel, Somewhere Out There. It's definitely classic for us. And she sang it to me probably until I was like 12. So, but don't tell anybody about that.
No, we won't tell anyone on the internet about that. You had lullabies till you were at least in middle school.
I loved it. And she always calmed me by scratching my back and stuff like that.
So tell me about your mother, and maybe what are important things that you have learned from her, things that she has passed down to you, and that you've been able to pass down to your children?
Well, I would say number one is faith. Just her faith in God, and she always took us to church, and she always, even apart from church, she has such a strong faith that she would always, like read us Bible stories and pray with us, and that kind of thing. So that's her faith, and I even saw that in her own mom. My grandmother was just really a woman of faith, and that's something that I hope that I have passed down to, my children. This is another thing, and it was really quite interesting because as I, asked my mom questions and my sister questions, I found that they both had the same thing to say about my grandmother, my mom, and my sister, and even her own children, which I see in my children too, is this helping people. And Melanie, my sister, and my mom are just, that's something I look at them and I just see how they would drop anything they're doing to go and help you in whatever you needed. And I know that like my mom used to come and take care of all 4 kids, and we would have gone, like sometimes to like France or something, like 10 days.
Yeah.
And now I keep 1 or 2 of my grandchildren overnight. I'm just like, oh, I'm so exhausted. How on earth did mom do this with 4 kids?
Yeah.
Of course, they're still little and they're babies, but yes, I really appreciate that my mom did that for me, and I want to do that for my kids too. But just that willingness to give. And I will say that even like with Megan, I've noticed that when some of her friends are sick or having babies, she will cook a meal and bring it over. And I think I got that. I definitely got that from my mom. She's still doing that.
Do you have a favorite memory of you and your mom? Like a favorite time, favorite story?
Right now, one of the most fun things that we do, Mom doesn't see so well, so we drive like 30, 45 minutes out of town to get our hair done. And so we make our hair appointments together. And of course, if we're both getting our hair cut and colored, we're there for at least 3 hours. And then usually I will take her and we'll just do some little shopping while we're, in town. And I think that we love that. And last month I went, and she was out of town taking care of her sister who's ill. And
it wasn't the same. I missed her. It was just like so boring just to go down there and just go to get my own hair cut and colored.
Yeah.
So I think that's, that's today. Certainly I have stories.
Yeah.
Do you remember that time we went to Monhegan Island?
In Maine? Yes.
We were all together. Mom and Dad were with us, and we took off on this trail. And we got in the center of the island, and Mom fell, and she just really cut up her leg, and it's just gushing blood. And we didn't know how to get out. And it's an island. There's not even cars on the island. It's so small. And then somebody who lived there sent their grandson out in the woods to get us because they could hear us. And they took us into their patio or something, and then they started taking care of Mom.
So lost.
I know, we were so lost. But that's a good memory. That's a funny memory. What do you think is your favorite thing about being a mother, motherhood in general?
Well, I made so many mistakes, I probably get hung up here.
No, don't think about those. Think about your favorite thing.
I'm trying. I think my favorite things were when I could have a lot of laughter with my kids. Because a lot of it was discipline.
Yeah.
And perhaps went overboard with discipline and the do's and don'ts. So the times of laughter, to me, have been the most important. And as you look back, and someone my age does look back a lot, those are the things that have the sweet memories, or the times of laughter. Just silly, fun things. It doesn't have to be great big things. Just being together was more important than being perfect together. Just being together and just laughter. And those are the good memories.
What do you think is your favorite thing about being a mother, motherhood in general?
Well, I made so many mistakes, I probably get hung up here.
No, don't think about those. Think about your favorite thing.
I'm trying. I think my favorite things were when I could have a lot of laughter with my kids. Because a lot of it was discipline.
Yeah.
And perhaps went overboard with discipline and the do's and don'ts. So the times of laughter, to me, have been the most important. And as you look back, and someone my age does look back a lot, those are the things that have the sweet memories, or the times of laughter. Just silly, fun things. It doesn't have to be great big things. Just being together was more important than being perfect together. Just being together and just laughter. And those are the good memories.
Tell me your favorite thing about being a mother.
How do I describe this? Just the love you have for your children.
And
And the love you get back from your children.
do you have like a favorite time with your kids?
Our camping trip was lovely. It was nice to be surprised.
Well, tell me about that surprise.
They took me camping and didn't tell me we were going camping.
When was this?
For my birthday.
I would just like to know on this Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you.
I would just like to know on this Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you.
Your thoughts on being a mother.
It's exhausting. I love being a mom. It is really tiring though. A lot of people, like Lily said, don't really understand that, but I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything. So it's wonderful. Sometimes.
Well, and that's true.
Especially when they're sleeping.
That's real.
I know. I think I'm more responsible with the things that I do because it's not about me anymore, and I have to, be responsible for her. I think I have learned a little bit more patience, but probably not, just in all reality, because I'm just not patient.
What's your favorite thing about being a mother?
Probably that I had a little girl.
Oh.
So, that's funny.
What if it was a boy, though?
I wouldn't have had a boy. Because God knew I really wanted a girl.
She's perfect.
And she has attitude, and she's beautiful, but she's funny. She's hilarious.
That is like describing my daughter, Maddie.
She's a little more carefree than me.
So what is your favorite time with Kendall, in general?
After school. Or right in the morning when she wakes up, because she lets me sing to her. And then demands chocolate milk.
What do you sing to her? Can you give us a sample?
Do you really want me to sing?
Sure.
Is it You Are a Masterpiece?
No, pause it and I'll go get her. Sing the good morning song.
Good morning. Good morning, cake.
No, say it. Good morning,
Kendall.
Good
morning,
Kendall. Say the rest. Say it. You're being silly. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna have this back.
Okay, bye.
What is the most rewarding thing about being a mother for you?
There's so much about it that's so rewarding, and it goes like a day like today is really rewarding, just to have your children near you and to have to see like Maddie with her daughter, and then like to have my college daughter come home. Those things are rewarding, and then the relationships themselves are just rewarding, and then just watching a little person grow into an adult.
It really is your day to celebrate as well.
Aww.
What is it like to be the mother of Marlo?
Oh my gosh. Marlo the cat. I mean, I've had him for a year now, almost a year. And tomorrow's his birthday. He's going to be
Happy
1.
birthday.
He was
a long pregnancy for you.
I adopted him when he was 6 weeks old. And it's really taught me about unconditional love, because no matter how many times he makes my skin bleed, I still love him. Like, he just tears into my skin with his nails or his teeth. And I mean, I have scars from him, literal scars all over my arms and legs, but it's just, no matter how much he hurts me, I love him so much. And then I think, wow, like this must be what unconditional love feels like for your child.
I think you're right.
Because I still love him. And people say, oh, he's an abusive cat. Maddie says that. And I say, I know, but he's my child. And I love him, so it doesn't matter,
Yes, I totally
because
agree
every
with you.
time he cuddles with me, it totally makes up for it. I forget about how viciously attacked I was beforehand. So and it's also really taught me how to use Neosporin and Band-Aids correctly to really
Get her rabies shots on time.
to really heal up those wounds. So those are some things I've learned since being a mom to my cat Marlo.
Well, thank you for sharing that you were in an abusive relationship with your cat. Your
playful.
baby.
He's just playful and feisty. He doesn't do it on purpose. I know he loves me.
I know he loves you. I've seen him how he loves you.
I know. He likes to play, and I don't declaw him. So what are you gonna do?
You're a good mommy.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day, Lillian.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.